Hey fam, it's Madison. Welcome back to my channel here at Madison Kate Coaching. Today I'm going to talk you through how I healed my PCOS naturally, step by step. We're going to hit on a lot of different topics. And disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. This isn't medical advice, so please consult with your healthcare professional when you're going to make any changes. But I do want to share my experience with PCOS and some practical tools and tips that have helped me significantly and a lot of other women I know with PCOS. These tips and tools have helped them to reverse their symptoms and heal their PCOS. So with that being said, let's get into it. So I'm an ACE certified personal trainer and fitness nutrition specialist. I became an ACE certified trainer a couple of years ago. I started Madison Kate Coaching about 1 year ago now, and I wanted to get into the fitness industry because I was diagnosed with PCOS in the fall of 2017. At the time, I had never heard of PCOS. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand the symptoms that were happening to me. I just felt like my body was kind of fighting against me, and it was very frustrating that it wasn't working the way I thought it was supposed to. I wasn't having a regular period. My hair started falling out. I started to have weird hair growth in other areas. I started gaining weight for no reason. I started getting really bloated, and just everything I ate seems to upset my stomach. I had cravings, mood swings. I was chronically fatigued all of the time. I had cystic ovaries, and I struggled with anxiety and depression type symptoms. So I pretty much had all of the types of PCOS. There's different types, like you've probably seen adrenal PCOS, which is from having high cortisol and a really stressed out nervous system where you're in fight or flight most of the time. Is inflammatory PCOS, where you just are very inflamed and puffy face. Then there's insulin resistant PCOS, so you're insulin resistant, kind of like type 2 diabetes, prediabetes. So foods may, make you anxious, spike your blood sugar, and cause weight gain, particularly around the stomach area. So if you are experiencing any or all of those symptoms, you're not alone. I was experiencing those symptoms when I was diagnosed with PCOS, and the doctor pretty much just told me you can take birth control, metformin, or progesterone. But she didn't explain, what PCOS was, what it maybe was caused by, or what contributed to my symptoms. And my symptoms really weren't addressed other than having irregular periods. I did try metformin for a month and progesterone for a month, and I was like, I am not doing this anymore. It's making me feel worse. It's not helping with any of my symptoms, so it's obviously not the answer. If you've had a similar experience with your doctor, I am very sorry, but I'm very glad you're here, because we're going to dive into things that I've done and many other women with PCOS have done to heal their root causes of their PCOS and reverse their symptoms. So the first thing I did when I decided to manage my PCOS naturally was address my exercise and my nutrition. So at the time, I had been running miles and miles. I was training for a half marathon, and I was trying to control my weight with running. So very high intensity cardio. And I didn't realize that much high intensity cardio was contributing to my stress and my inflammation. It was very hard on my body. So one of the first things I did was cut way back on the high intensity cardio and focused more on strength training and walking, or maybe just running 1 to 2 miles once or twice a week. This immediately helped my stress and my inflammation start to go down. And the other thing I did at that time was start an elimination diet on myself. So I didn't actually test what foods I was sensitive to, which you can go that route as well if you just want to get tested and know what might be inflaming your gut. But I did an elimination diet. I cut out gluten, dairy, sugar, processed food, fried food, anything that might be inflammatory or I might be sensitive to. And so I learned that I was sensitive to gluten and dairy, and I started using the build your plate method to build my meals. So I would have a protein, some sort of healthy fat like avocado or nuts, and some low glycemic index carbs like sweet potato or quinoa or brown rice, and lots of veggies. And I started doing this for all of my meals as I was food journaling, figuring out what was going to work for me as far as nutrition goes. Within 2 weeks of doing this with my exercise and my nutrition, I felt like a whole different person. I started to be able to eat without getting intense pain and bloating right afterwards. My blood sugar was starting to balance, which helped with so many things. And I started getting a little more energy back. I just felt so much better pretty much immediately after making these small changes. I also started taking more supplements at the time in addition to my nutrition. You can definitely work with a functional medicine practitioner to test and see exactly what supplements you need, what vitamins and minerals you may be lacking in. It's very common for us PCOS women to be deficient in different vitamins and minerals, so I would definitely suggest getting tested to see what you specifically need to be taking. Some things that helped me really reduce my inflammation and help with my insulin resistance and my stress would be vitamin D, vitamin B, curcumin, omega-3, CoQ12. I took ashwagandha for a little while for stress. Anyways, there's a lot of different supplements that you can try for different things you have going on. But again, I would recommend working with a functional medicine practitioner to figure out exactly what supplements you actually need to be taking. Now, shortly after my diagnosis and me starting to make these exercise and nutrition changes, I went through several pretty traumatic experiences in college, which made my stress spike, my insulin resistance spike, and despite what I had been doing with nutrition and exercise, my symptoms flared up again and I ended up gaining about 20 pounds pretty quickly just because of trauma and stress. And so over the next couple of years, the third thing that I worked on a lot to heal my PCOS was my mental health. And there's so many different things we could talk about with mental health. There's childhood wounds and trauma. There's, boundaries with your family or work or other people. There's, perfectionism, people pleasing that can cause stress. There's body image issues to work through a lot of the times with PCOS. There's just so many different things in the mental health category. We all go through things at different times in our lives. We all go through times of stress, times of traumatic experiences, times of grieving. And it's so important to take the time to grieve, to heal, to work through things, because if you just suppress it and ignore it, it's going to manifest physically through your physical health. Symptoms are gonna pop up. We can't just ignore it or go around it or push the pain away. You can try, but you're going to be sick and you're going to not experience high, happy levels of emotion. You're just going to be kind of like this all the time, and that's not what we want. So it's really important, if you have PCOS and stress seems to be a trigger, to work with a counselor or a life coach that you trust that can really help you heal and work through whatever it is that you need to work through in this season of life, and help you, be able to set healthy boundaries and not feel pressure from other people to say yes to everything or whatever it is for you. But just mental health is super important. There's a lot of other things you can do as well for your mental health. If you struggle with any sort of anxiety or depression, you can go on walks, you can meditate, breath work, vagal nerve exercises, gratitude journaling, EFT tapping, grounding, taking naps, playing with your pet, listening to music, doing yoga or Pilates, positive self-talk, support from friends or family, aromatherapy, progressive muscle relaxation. There's so many different tools and techniques out there for you to use to build up your emotional resiliency, your ability to handle stress and stressful situations. We want to first, work on your mental health, heal, work through the hard things that you have. And then after that, you can really start to use these tools on your own to continue being able to handle stress and triggers when they come up. I highly recommend you to pick 1 or 2 or 3 and just focus on those, whether it's gratitude journaling, going on a daily walk, whatever kind of self-care works best for you to be able to relax and release. Do those things. Another thing that kind of goes along with mental health is sleep. If you're not sleeping at least 7 to 9 hours a night, you can do all these other things for your PCOS and for your health, but you're still going to be struggling with symptoms if you are not sleeping well. So having a really good evening routine in place that you start on time so that you fall asleep on time and can wake up and have energy in the morning, that's super, super important. With PCOS, a lot of times we have high cortisol at night and low cortisol in the morning, which is the opposite of what you want, because high cortisol is going to keep you awake at night where you can't fall asleep, and then low cortisol in the morning is going to make you wake up tired so that you're not energized and ready to wake up for the day. So one really good thing to do in the morning is to step outside and get morning sunlight on your face. That's going to help you wake up and help fix your circadian rhythm so that you can fall asleep and wake up at the right time. Evening routine is really important to wind down, to tell your brain, train your brain, it's time to get sleepy and go to sleep. Taking magnesium before bed, wearing blue light blockers, using soft red light bulbs. So many weird, cool things you can try to help you calm down at night and tell your brain that, okay, it's dark outside, it's time to get sleepy and release melatonin. The last thing I want to talk about, so we've done nutrition, exercise, mental health, sleep. The last kind of big piece that you can do to work on healing your PCOS naturally is removing toxins from your house. So this looks like getting a good water filter, a good air purifier, using non-toxic beauty products, skin products, hair products, makeup, non-toxic cleaning products, which are actually really easy and cheap to make with Castile soap if you just look up recipes online. You want to try and remove as many toxins as you can. Those are going to be just toxic chemicals that will mess up your hormones. They are endocrine disruptors, and it's just going to put even more pressure on your liver to remove those from your body. So the easier we can make our liver's job, the better it's going to be able to metabolize other things like estrogen. But yeah, my biggest tip for going non-toxic is when you run out of one thing, just go to the EWG.org website or the EWG verified app, and you can look up that product and see all of the non-toxic options for that product, or you can look up a recipe, a DIY, to make it yourself. But just slowly do it one product at a time. When you run out of it, instead of just purchasing another Windex, look up a better option. So I hope this was a helpful little video on how I'm managing my PCOS naturally. If you're doing all of these things, you're walking every day, strength training, managing your stress, removing toxins, taking supplements, if you're doing all of this on your own and you're still struggling, still having symptoms, there's probably another issue going on somewhere, and I would highly recommend you to seek out, again, a medical professional that you trust, functional medicine practitioner, to do testing to figure out what else is going on that needs to be addressed so that the other things can heal in your body. That's why I love holistic health, functional medicine, because they look at you as a unique individual person and as a whole body. Your physical, your mental, and your spiritual, it's all connected, it all affects each other, and each part of our body interacts with the other. So the heart affects the lungs, affects the stomach, affects the hormones. It's all related, and it's important to see the root cause of what's going on and start there. But I hope this helps you start with the basics and start taking things into your own hands, into your own control. If you really want to heal your body naturally, you can do it. Just pick one thing at a time to work on and make it a habit, and then stack another new habit on top of that. If you want more information and are interested in my coaching services, please reach out to me. My Instagram at It's Madison Kate. You can email me at madison@madisonkatecoaching.com or visit my website and contact me there, www.madisonkatecoaching.com. I have more free resources on there. I'll link a How I Healed My PCOS downloadable Canva document below. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe for more. See you next time.